Welcome to part 4 of the Swap Meet XLT. Alright, well this time I've got the skid together and we're going to look at that reverse chain case in the part sled. Wait till you see that part sled. What a bad example of a kid sled.
No, it's a perfect example.
Yeah, you're right. It's a perfect example of the type of sled you should never buy. The recoil ropes broke.
Ran perfect.
It ran perfect. No, the crank's fine. It's got great compression. It's just the recoil rope broke. That's always the story. Thank God I only paid part sled price for the thing. So anyways, we'll bring you out there and we'll show you the part sled, and I'm going to get that chain case open and hopefully it's got all the reverse guts in it and none of it's damaged. It is a possibility with the reverse chain case that it could just have a normal chain and sprocket in it. I mean, it happens. So let's get out there and let's find out what's really going on with this thing.
Not a bad day to work outside.
No, it's a good day to work outside. All right, I'll give you a quick walk around on this XLT parts sled I picked up at Princeton. I'll tell you right now, it's already missing parts, but there are a couple things on it I'm really excited about. So let me show you. So I paid $200 for it because it's a kid sled. It's obviously a kid sled, and I'll give you a little look under the hood first. It's got the recoil rope delete. So that's why I only gave $200. I couldn't tell if it ran or even if it had compression, really. We've been stealing parts off it. That's why the carbs are loose. We took the coils off, so we got the carbs out of the way to get the coils out. We took the CDI box for Dennis's sled. Indy 600 got that brake caliper. Next on the agenda is get this reverse box out and see if it's good, bad, whatever. Let's find out if I can use it or not. And look at that. Looks like I got a free socket with the sled. So, yeah, your basic kid sled disaster under the hood. And on the outside, well, you can tell that it's a kid sled because of the way that it is. Key identifying signs of kid sled. Fox sticker, random bumper stickers, bent trailing arms, and the suspension is jacked all the way up. So this thing's got the same suspension. It's the same exact sled as Dennis's, I think, or very similar. And they're both extra 12s. And can you see the difference in how we set up Dennis's versus this sled? So we got Dennis's set up fairly low, about extra 10 height. And that other sled, well, once again, a sign of a kid sled. Every suspension preload is jacked all the way up. If you ask me, my personal opinion is that's how XLTs got their bad reputation for being tippy and bad handling. Everybody jacked them up like that. You set them up like Dennis's, and they're wonderful. So don't go nuts on the preload on your extra 12. Let's see, some other things I like on this thing. I got purple wheels, and they look better than the purple wheels I just used. And then the track is the taller. It's a 121, but it's a taller lightning bolt. So that's a bonus. The seat's garbage. And no mouse nest. So I don't know if you could see in there, but there's no mouse nest in the trunk. Well, you can take your pick of whether the adjuster is wrong or shimming on the case of an older secondary, or whether that belt's just worn out. But judging by the condition of this sled, I'm voting worn out. Here's another thing to look for when you're buying a used sled. Take a good look at the clutch. Look at all this rust, right? How's that bushing going to last with all that rust? You could try to polish it out, but it's pretty much garbage. We got a bunch down in there too. Not good. Hopefully, if you're looking at a used sled, the primary looks better than this one. Kid sleds. All right, so where do we start? First off, there's supposed to be a bolt here through the cover. It was missing. There's supposed to be 4 chain case cover bolts, but the hard to get to one back here where I'm pointing is missing. And then Look at that lovely castle nut. Don't buy a sled from a kid. Unless it's a parts sled. Then it's okay. All right, well, I've got this reverse chain case gutted. And let me tell you, there was nothing tight on it, except for the broken castle nut that didn't have a cotter pin. But it looks plausible. There's all the guts. I'm not saying it's great, but I'm going to inspect it further, and maybe that'll work. Chain case itself, it looks fine. In addition to nothing being tight and the missing bolts and such, of course, there was no lube in the chain case, so that was really convenient too. Much more pleasant for disassembly. We'll just hope it wasn't run that way. So there you go. Looks like I'm most likely getting a reverse chain case in the Swap Meet XLT project. More kid sled stuff. Can you see that torsion spring? Yeah, kid sleds. All right, well, the parts harvest off the parts sled is pretty well over, at least for now. That's not to say we won't come back and pick various things. Oh, I see something I forgot. I got to grab this grommet right here. I noticed one was missing off of the XLT I'm working on right now. But, yeah, I got most of the good stuff out. And some of the bad stuff or questionable stuff is out, too. So, I think this thing's going to go for its last ride out into the woods. Last ride for a while. Dennis wants the bumpers, so we'll probably drag it back up here once more so he can get those bumpers with the purple stripe tape on them on his sled. Farley loves snowmobiles. Watch how nuts she goes when I start this thing. So let's do a quick recap on the parts I got off this thing. So first and foremost, reverse chain case appears to be complete and usable. Everything, including the shifter and the cable and everything. Brad wants these handlebars. Got a good brake master cylinder and hose. I already used the brake caliper on the Indy 600. I got a questionable engine, highly questionable, but we've already stolen the ignition off of it for Dennis's sled. Complete set of carbs. I'm going to say that clutch is junk and going in the junk pile. But that's all pretty good. Oh, yeah, and the track. That's the nearer of these two tracks, the one that's like a white-colored dirt on it. Love that track. You know, that's a tall Lightning Bolt 121. The rear one, well, that's a tall Lightning Bolt 133. That didn't come off of that sled, but you'll be hearing more about that in the future. So anyways, pretty happy with those parts, and you know, even though it's a kid sled, I bought it for the right reasons, and no complaints. So in closing, I just want to say that, you know, this is a kid sled, but there's no hard feelings on the deal. In fact, just the opposite. I'm really happy with the deal. I mean, for what I paid, I got a great pile of parts off of this thing to make use of. And, you know, it was sold to me by a friend who's a very honest guy, and he didn't mislead me about the sled at all. In fact, he told me what kid owned it and that it had the heck beat out of it. So with that said, I want to say thank you to the patrons, and we'll put your names up here right now. And if you're wondering what the Patreon is, that's a place you can go to, you know, provide some additional support to the channel besides just hitting subscribe. And then as far as subscribe goes, it's free. There's no obligation. Just hit that subscribe button, and it helps the channel, helps support the channel, helps me get these videos out to more people, and keeps me motivated to making more videos. So thanks for watching.